Welcome to NARmovies. I'm Nathan, and the movie is Avengers: Age of Ultron. I personally am really excited to be talking about this movie. Every movie that Rose and I have reviewed so far has been like kind of a smaller or low budget or indie movie off of Netflix. We've never done like a big blockbuster hit before, but last Sunday was Mother's Day and my mom wanted to go see the new Avengers movie. So here we are. This movie was awesome. I love it. I am a huge fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm just like in love with big, deep universes in general. Like that's why I love Star Trek universe, Game of Thrones, and of course the Marvel Avengers universe. It is awesome. And I really liked this movie. I know there's a lot of Avengers fans that didn't like this movie, but for me, it was kind of more of like kind of the movie that I like character deepening, character development kind of stuff. First off, right off the bat, the two kind of villains, the twins, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. Quicksilver kind of had a somewhat important role in the movie, but Scarlet Witch really made this movie because of her psychic mental abilities. One of the awesome things about this movie is she gets in everyone's head and basically like shows them all these really like their past or like kind of how bad of people they are. Basically not just tricks them into seeing bad things to stun them temporarily, but really gets in their head and makes them think like, am I a monster? Should I like have such an important role? Should I be the kind of person who's saving the world? That ability of hers made this movie very deep. You had like, you know, Tony Stark kind of within himself thinking like, am I going to be the destruction of the Avengers? You had Thor having these visions that I'll talk about a little bit later on. The Hulk definitely getting in the Hulk's head and making him realize that he's kind of like a monster. Just all the characters basically having these really kind of deep, self-reflecting, just kind of tumultuous, I don't know, just is really awesome for her to be able to add that depth to this movie and make the characters more complex, I think. Ultron. Let's talk about Ultron. Ultron is awesome. James Spader does the voice and like kind of did the motion capture facial features for him. James Spader is awesome, and his voice could not have been more perfect. Like for this role, it's so kind of eerie but human, and it's just it fit with the character so perfectly. I was intrigued by him. What I love about Ultron is he's not this typical like, you know, like Cylon. He's not this typical like robot built by humans and trying to, you know, kill daddy or take over you know, like the world or something like that. He feels like this human rage, like this real emotion. He's disturbed. He's like mentally unstable, even though he's technically like, you know, man-made or whatever. He has this very complex, deep, kind of chaotic mindset, and you know, kind of plans on pacifying the world by ending humanity, which, you know, arguably would end a lot of problems for Earth, but also I kind of like being here, so maybe Ultron shouldn't destroy everyone. But yeah, Ultron was awesome. What else? Just okay. I loved the like Mega Iron Man and Hulk battle. That was awesome. I mean, let's think about it. Anytime that characters that you know can battle each other, who doesn't want that? That's fun, but that's hard to make happen. Honestly, Hulk is the most reasonable one because he's just full of rage. Like no one except it's just himself versus everything when he's all hulked up like that. But when Scarlet Witch gets in his head, he basically becomes like this rampaging demon that's just trying to destroy everything. So there's like this awesome, you know, the 5 minute long scene where Hulk and Mega Iron Man just tear apart an entire city in Africa. It's great because Hulk, a lot of people don't know this, they don't really talk about it in the movies other than just kind of show you, but Hulk is the only character really who's technically invincible. Like when he's Hulk, he can't die. He cannot be killed. He's just completely invincible. Iron Man can be, however, he's extremely strong. And when he's Mega Iron Man, he has that I forget her name, Victoria I think it was, just a satellite that basically anytime part of Mega Iron Man's suit gets damaged, a new piece kind of flies in and replaces it. So you have Hulk, who's technically invincible, and then you have Mega Iron Man, who's not invincible but close, but he's constantly being repaired. So really, it's like a battle that can't be won. Like all they can do is just fight forever. And it's kind of interesting when he finally punches Hulk and knocks him out. I guess getting knocked out isn't, you can be invincible and still go unconscious, I suppose. I don't know, but that fight was awesome. They kind of teased it in the trailer for the movie, and I was really excited to see that, and it definitely delivered. It was really fun, just watching so much epic, huge punching, and their fights can take down whole buildings. I don't know, it brings out this very kind of male, animalistic, I don't know, drive of just, fight. So yeah, I did really enjoy this movie. There's just a lot of fun stuff to it. Very Hollywood, very comic booky, right? Like an entire city gets lifted up off the ground, and meanwhile the city's still functioning, people on it running around, but it's way up in the sky. That's such a cool concept, just kind of visualizing how that would work, an entire city just shooting up into space before come crashing down to end all of humanity. Luckily that didn't happen. Thor and Iron Man saved the day with their pew and thunder lightning powers. Awesome stuff. I don't really know what else to say about the movie. It was really good, but I do want to talk about something else. I want to talk about how this movie started to set up Phase 3. So if you don't know how the Marvel Cinematic Universe works, there was the first Iron Man movie and the second Iron Man movie, and Captain America and Thor and these kind of movies, and then the first Avengers came out. So that was Phase 1, basically setting up the characters, and then the Avengers movie. Phase 2 has been Iron Man 3, the second Captain America movie, Winter Soldier, the second Thor movie. I think there was another one, but then this basically was the end of Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy is also in Phase 2, and then this Avengers movie, I think technically Ant-Man is actually the last movie with Paul Rudd. That's actually going to be the last movie of Phase 2. So it didn't end with the Avengers this time. It's going to be the Avengers, and then Ant-Man, and then Phase 2 is over. Phase 3 looks exciting. First off, they've already announced all the movies for Phase 3, which is just crazy to think about all the stuff coming up. So let's think about some of that real quick. Okay, first off, because of all the destruction and everything that happens, with a Hulk smashing the city, basically everyone on Earth, this is what just happens in the comics, by the way, in the storyline, everyone on Earth kind of starts realizing, hey, it's nice having these superheroes around, but they're basically these god characters who are just playing out this ridiculous war fantasy on our planet, and it kind of messes stuff up for us. Lots of cities get destroyed all the time. So basically in the comics what happens is humanity pushes this thing called the Superhero Registration Act, which basically requires anyone with superhuman abilities, whether genetic or technology and created, Iron Man, anyone who has superhuman abilities has to become registered, and then they can be tracked and regulated, and decisions can be made for them, and stuff like that, basically allowing the government to control this. There's kind of two sides that end up happening now. You've got half of the Avengers kind of fronted by Captain America, who is yeah, we should be held accountable, we should be regulated, we are people on Earth also, we're trying to protect it, so we need to set a good example, we should all be registered. He's down for the Superhero Registration Act. Then you've got people like Tony Stark, who's basically leave us alone, we're just trying to save humanity, let us do that however we need to do it, and don't get in our way. What this does is it creates this big conflict, and what they announced actually is the next Captain America movie is called Captain America Civil War. Captain America Civil War, which implies obviously there's going to be a civil war amongst the Avengers, which is crazy. One of the things that I'm excited for about that is finally this Captain America versus Iron Man mashup, which is very likely to happen since Captain America will be the leader of one side, Iron Man is very set up to be the leader of this other side of this kind of civil war debate that they have. That would be awesome. There's kind of already teased to that in this movie, right? So Steve Rogers, Captain America, when he finds out that Tony Stark is basically doing all this crazy stuff with science that he doesn't know what's going to happen, creating Ultron, basically. And then, even though he wasn't supposed to do that, and Captain America got very mad at him, then he ended up putting together the kind of genetic human technology hybrid that ended up becoming the Vision. He also wasn't supposed to do that, and Captain America got very mad at him again. So they've already kind of have this turmoil, this like clashing, which is really going to help, I think, kind of build up this angst between them and start the Civil War, which is kind of awesome. Okay, what else did this movie set up? Oh, here's an awesome character I'm excited for. If you remember, at one part in the movie, Ultron has to go get the vibranium, and he goes to this kind of grungy, dirty-looking arms dealer, and talks to him. That arms dealer's name is Ulysses Klaue. And if you remember, he goes there, and the Avengers show up, and there's like this big battle or whatever. But basically, what's weird is if you see this, you think, this guy doesn't really seem that important of a character. He's just kind of this arms dealer. He's the way that they receive the vibranium, right? But he's played by Andy Serkis, which is weird because Andy Serkis is really famous. Why would you have someone so famous playing such a pointless character? If you don't know who Andy Serkis is, actually, he is probably the most famous like motion capture actor. He did the motion capture and voice for Gollum from Lord of the Rings, King Kong from the King Kong movie. What else? Oh, Caesar, the main chimpanzee Caesar in all the new Planet of the Apes movies was also motion captured, animated using his body and his voice. So yeah, definitely probably the most famous motion capture and one of the most famous voice actors. He's also done like, live roles like he does in this movie. The reason that such a famous person is playing someone who seems so useless is when you realize that Ulysses Klaue is the real name of the Marvel supervillain Claw, right? Claw, comic books love to do that stuff. Essentially, Claw, in the comic books at least, he's like made of sound, and he has this emitter on his right hand, think about that basically can emit strong sound pressure waves to stun people, or he can even like send out sonic blasts, like pressure blasts that can cause damage, kill people, move objects. He's a very, very powerful supervillain. And he's super rich, which allows him to use vibranium to kind of create this ability for himself. So the crazy thing, what this movie sets up is Ultron transfers billions of dollars into his account as exchange, kind of like forced trade for the vibranium. When he gets it, he transfers tons of monies into his account, making this Ulysses Klaue very, very rich, right? Ding. And then also, once the Avengers show up and there's a problem, actually, I think Ulysses Klaue makes some reference to Tony Stark, or he compares Ultron to Tony Stark, I think, which really pisses Ultron off. So Ultron rips off his arm, right? Crazy. Setting up basically the creation of this character. He made him super rich, put this anger in his mind, and ripped off his arm, creating the possibility, or not possibility, the definite ability of this new character, which we're definitely going to be seeing in the future. And I'm excited because Andy Serkis is an awesome actor. Also, in the comic books, Claw's the arch nemesis of Black Panther, and Black Panther we've already seen set up to be a character in the ongoing in the Avengers movies. So yeah, that's awesome. Okay, what else? There's other things. I want to make sure I get everything. Here. Thor, when he has his vision from Scarlet Witch, and he goes and he's in Asgard, and everything's like weird. They're celebrating the like destruction, and I forget his name. He's like the black guy. His eyes are all messed up there. Why can't I remember his name? Anyway, he's like the gatekeeper of Asgard. He's telling Thor that like Asgard's going to hell, Asgard's collapsing, and Thor having this vision, it kind of really messes with him. He's like, what would happen to Asgard? Why is Asgard in trouble or whatever? So he has all this worry and stuff going on in his head. The announcement they made, the release of the next Thor movie is going to be called Thor Ragnarok. Now this is a crazy awesome tie-in because Thor's side not only ties in with the Marvel Universe, but also with Norse mythology, which is just great for me. It's just super awesome. If you don't know, Thor is the son of Odin, old, like before comic books, before many of the countries that are even on this planet right now. This is an old Norse myth. Thor is the son of Odin. Odin is essentially like the top dad god, right? Like a lot of religions have these, like Zeus, just the Christian, Judeo-Christian god. You've got dad god, and then they're like super powerful demigod son, right? So you've got Zeus, his son Hercules. You've got God, his son Jesus. You've got Odin, his son Thor. So Thor is basically this half god, half human hybrid, just super awesome, like badass guy. In fact, a little side note, the days of our week are named after that. Like Odin, actually his real name, he goes by Woden, Woden's Day, Wednesday, and Thor is Thor's Day, Thursday. Wednesday and Thursday are literally named after ancient Norse gods / I guess Marvel superheroes. I wonder what, like, anthropologists way in the future are going to think about that. Like, man, these humans around the year 2015 must have really loved comics because they named their days after them. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Well, I won't see. I won't be around. Anyway, so off track. Let's pull it back together, Nathan. I said that they announced the movie Thor Ragnarok. In Norse mythology, Ragnarok is a series of events, future events, they haven't happened yet, a series of future events that end Asgard and bring about the destruction of all of its citizens. So Ragnarok is what destroys Asgard, kills Odin, kills Thor, kills Loki, basically ends all of Norse mythology. Ragnarok, it's like not really known if it's a thing, but some kind of event, but it's basically a series of events that ends Norse mythology. Thor Ragnarok is the name of the next Thor movie, which is kind of terrifying because Thor saw this vision of Ragnarok, or of Asgard, collapsing, right? So is that going to be the end of the Thor story? I don't know, but it's awesome tie-in. I love that, like, two awesome universes are coming together. There's other stuff. Okay, the Infinity Stones. Right, let's talk about the Infinity Stones. So in this movie, there's 6 Infinity Stones. The 4th one becomes realized. It was the stone inside Loki's scepter, which is the Mind Stone, and is now in the forehead of the Vision, the superhero that was created by Ultron, trying to create a better him hybrid mixed with Thor's lightning energy that creates the Vision. He has the Mind Stone in his head. That's awesome. Okay, so that's the first one. And then there's also the Tesseract. I think that was the first one. What is that? That's in Captain America or Iron Man 2? I don't remember. But the Tesseract, that's another one. You've got the Ether from Thor. And you've got the Orb from Guardians of the Galaxy. Those 4 together make up the 4 Infinity Stones that we know of yet. There's supposed to be 6 of them, so there'll be 2 more. We might see one in Ragnarok. We might see one maybe in the Civil War movie. But these are really important, right? Because on their own, they're very, very powerful. But when all 6 of them come together within the Infinity Gauntlet, right? It's this big, like, kind of golden metal gauntlet glove that holds all 6 of these. When all of those together are in the gauntlet, it's so powerful. Like, anyone who wields that can destroy planets. Like, literally just by punching the ground, you can blow up a planet. It's like the Death Star or something. Like, crazy, crazy powerful. Obviously, these Infinity Stones need to be separated and kept different. The fact that they're all starting to show up kind of pieces together this bigger picture of what's going on. Really awesome, because in this movie, there's always like the little video, mid-credit video. Sometimes it's just like a funny little thing, like when at the end of the first Avengers, they're all eating, what did they go get, like falafel or something? I don't remember. So sometimes they're funny, but a lot of times they like show you important stuff that's coming up, right? So in this one, Thanos, if you know Thanos in the Marvel Universe, he's basically the most powerful super villain. Like, he's just made of energy. All he does is float around on a rock in space being evil. We see him in Guardians of the Galaxy a bunch. He kind of is the one who brings Ronan and the 2 sisters together to, like, for evil. That's a different movie. We don't need to talk about that. But Thanos, he's shown in the end of the credits putting on the Infinity Gauntlet and saying something like, I guess I must do this myself, or something like that. So that's really crazy, because there's already 4 Infinity Stones out there, 2 more to be found. If Thanos gets a hold of all of them, he could essentially destroy the universe, which would be very bad news for everyone in the universe. So, yeah, that could be a really big thing. The announcement they made about Phase 3, after the kind of individual character movies, the Phase 3 Avengers movie is going to be a 2-parter called Avengers Infinity War. It's going to be Infinity War Part 1 and Infinity War Part 2. Now, obviously, that word infinity is thrown in there. It's kind of a dead giveaway. I think by the end of Phase 3, we're going to, if not Thanos already has the gauntlet with all 6 stones in it, that 2-parter movie, each likely to be, you know, like 2.5 or 3 hours long. So we're talking about like 5 to 6 hours of movie content here. So a lot could happen, but either before then or during the course of that movie, it's likely that we're going to see the outcome of all of these Infinity Stones. Does Thanos get all of them? Does he try to destroy the planet? Do the Avengers have to finally come back together? Hopefully that's what ends the Civil War, right? So if Phase 3 is going to be the Avengers all at war with each other, then maybe Thanos, they're all distracted enough for Thanos to be able to get all of the Infinity Stones together in the Infinity Gauntlet and threaten Earth, or threaten the universe, and this will bring all of the Avengers on the same page and be like, oh man, we shouldn't have been fighting each other this whole time over something so stupid and petty. We should have been making sure we were doing our job, which is saving the universe. So I'm kind of guessing on a lot of stuff here, but it seems like that's how they got stuff kind of set up. We'll have to see what happens, of course. But yeah, I'm really excited about the future of the Avengers. I really like how this movie went and how kind of dark it was. And yeah, there was a lot of really good stuff for it. So thank you for watching this. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the movie. Are you a big Avengers fan? Are you excited for the future of the Avengers? Stuff like that. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.